He wasn't reading it. He was scanning, nervously, the 20 pages that should have been there, between the prayers and the penance. But they were gone. Not torn, not damaged, surgically removed, taken hundreds of years ago, because what they held was never meant to be read again. The man who wrote it escaped with his life, but the real price came later. And this wasn't just any book. It was a manuscript once locked away and spoken of like a curse. They called it the Codex Gigas. Now they call it the Devil's Bible. The Codex Gigas shouldn't exist. Not at this scale. Not with this precision. No single monk could have written it. No one person could have bound it. But somehow, someone did. And not just that. It's what they chose to include. It stands nearly a metre tall. That's 3 feet in total. Weighs over 160 pounds. And it's made from the skin of more than 160 animals, likely calves or donkeys. When Tre Corona Castle caught fire in 1697, they threw the book from the window to save it. On the way down, it hit a man, broke his arm, but it survived. But that's not why it's infamous. What makes it unforgettable is what's inside. A full-page portrait of the devil and 620 handwritten pages, all by one person. Same ink, same strokes, no smudges, no signs of fatigue, not even a single slip. Experts say it would have taken 30 years, but the legend says it took just one night. The Codex Gigas was created between 1204 and 1230 in a Bohemian monastery. We know that from the saints listed in its calendar and from what it tried to contain, because it wasn't just a Bible. It was meant to be a vault for all knowledge, sacred, scientific, and forbidden. It includes the entire Latin Bible, ancient histories by Josephus, Isidore's encyclopedia of everything known, medieval medical texts, and even a guide on how to catch a thief. But this wasn't just a book to read, it was a book to use. Among the scriptures were whispered formulas, spells, rituals for driving out demons, charms to locate lost objects, using divine names. All of it in one volume, as if the aim wasn't to describe the world, but to control it. That's the official history. But legend says a monk broke his vows. As a punishment, he was sentenced to be walled up alive. He begged for one last chance, claiming he could write a book containing all knowledge in a single night. By midnight, he knew he'd failed, so he prayed, not to God, but to the devil. And the devil answered. By dawn, the huge book was complete and flawless. The monk survived, and in gratitude or submission, he painted the devil's portrait into the manuscript, across from a full-page image of heaven, as if to say, I didn't write this for God, I wrote it for him. This could have stayed a legend, but the evidence only made it worse. The entire manuscript, 620 pages, is unnervingly perfect. No edits, no deviations, no second hand, not even tiny shifts in pressure or style. It was as if the book was already finished, and the scribe simply uncovered it. But on the 5 pages before the devil's portrait, something strange happens. The careful script breaks. A sudden block of capital letters, heavy, rigid, like someone confessing. The words themselves don't explain it. They're oaths, fragments, unclear. But the way they're written, that's the warning. As if the scribe wasn't transcribing, he was bracing for what came next. And the portrait of the devil himself? He's not just depicted, he's enthroned, cloaked in ermine, royal fur, 4 fingers on each hand, 2 tongues. He's the only living figure in the entire image. Not a metaphor, not a monster, a king. In most religious texts, the devil is shown in defeat, cast down, chained, tormented, a warning. But in the Codex Gigas, there's no fall, no punishment, just presence, just power, deliberate, undisturbed, not a condemnation, but a coronation. Originally, the Codex Gigas had 320 leaves, 640 pages. Today, it has 310. 10 leaves, 20 pages, vanished. Not torn, not damaged, but cut, cleanly, with a blade, leaving only the stubs in the binding. Most historians believe the missing pages contained the rule of St. Benedict, a monastic code of conduct. It fits the placement. It would have made sense. But when this book contained everything known, why remove something so ordinary? The fear is, it wasn't just rules. It was something else, something added, something dangerous. Because this book already held spells, it already included rituals, exorcisms, and sacred invocations. It was already heretical. What could a reader find, or a scribe write, that someone later chose to cut from the most powerful book ever made? Some believe it was a ritual, others a command, a single invocation. They call it the Devil's Prayer, a whispered formula that could summon what the book depicts, the devil himself. And some believe it still exists, not erased, just removed, preserved by a secret few who didn't want that kind of power shared. In 1648, Swedish troops seized the Codex from Prague as war loot. That's when it was first called the Devil's Bible. When the royal castle caught fire 49 years later, the book was hurled from the window. It struck a bystander, but once again survived. But the missing pages didn't scatter in the fall, because they were already gone. Today the Codex is kept in the National Library of Sweden, sealed behind glass, protected from light, from heat, and maybe from something else. The portrait of the devil is far more degraded than every other page, worn by candle smoke, oils, fingers, marked by obsession. Look at it today and you can see it, the evidence of those who kept coming back, drawn by a need to touch the unholy. Even now, librarians report a feeling when they stand near it. Not fear, not awe, pressure, as if the book notices. And at least twice in its history, the Codex shows clear signs of the fixings that chained it to a wall. Not for security, for containment. Today it's sealed behind thick museum glass, protected from light, from air, from touch. But what if it isn't the book that needs protecting? It's us. Because someone long ago made a choice. They didn't burn the pages, they didn't explain them, they just cut them out, precisely, silently, and kept them. Not to protect us, but to keep the knowledge from us. in the hands of someone who was never meant to have it, not lost to time, just waiting to be used. There's another manuscript half a millennia old, bound in secrecy and written in code, and said to kill anyone who tries to understand it. It's called the Book of Soyga. Click the card, step deeper into the archive, because if you're still watching, you're not just curious, you're marked. Subscribe to uncover what was never meant to surface. I'm Nico, and I'll meet you in the next mystery.